Welcome! My name is Nick Rousseau, and I welcome you to this tutorial of My NASA Data, brought to you by NASA Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. Today we're going to learn how to get started with the Earth System Data Explorer, a data visualization tool provided by My NASA Data. This visualization tool is commonly referred to as an LAS, or Live Access Server, a web server that provides access to a variety of Earth systems data. This means that the data provided is not live, rather it is a collection of data over time reported from NASA platforms such as satellites, aircraft, and field stations. For this video tutorial, we're going to be focusing on locating datasets, adjusting geographic location of data, adjusting time setting of data, analyzing data with Compare To and Compare For features, and exporting information. So let's begin. When you launch the Earth System Data Explorer, depending on your web browser such as Google Chrome, you may be prompted to please choose a dataset. Go ahead and click OK, and the Earth System Data Explorer is ready to provide information. If we go to the top left-hand corner of our screen, we'll find Dataset. Go ahead and select this, and you'll find a series of different topics that will eventually lead you to information you can select from. For this video, we're actually going to be focusing on hydrosphere, and more specifically, daily sea surface temperature. As an example, let us say we're doing a research project on a storm from within the last few years, and maybe a storm that would be relevant to our research such as Hurricane Sandy. So, for example, let us say we've done our research, and we recall that Hurricane Sandy occurred on October 2012. This storm displayed a very unique path in how it moved. It started as a tropical wave from the west coast of Africa on October 11th, and then it passed the 74-mile-per-hour sustained wind benchmark that hurricanes must pass to be considered hurricanes, right about here just off of Central America. Then it headed northward, and instead of going out into the North Atlantic at this point, Hurricane Sandy came back and then dissipated over the land. So as a quick recollection, we may remember that hurricanes or tropical cyclones are the severe storms found within the Atlantic Ocean, and they generally form over the warm waters located within the Atlantic Basin. These include the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico. These hurricanes actually draw most of their power from warm water to form a sort of heat engine, and we could use the information on your Earth System Data Explorer to actually explore this variable more closely. Perhaps we want to see what happens to the warm sea surface temperature after a storm like Hurricane Sandy as it passes over. So let's go back to the Earth System Data Explorer. We'll go ahead and select Daily Sea Surface Temperature from 2009 to present, and then we're given the information in the annotations area. The information includes the dataset, variable, time, mission labeled by acronym, a description of the dataset, and units given. Additionally, if we look up on the dataset area, we can also navigate to these adjacent question marks. If you select one closest to the related variable, you'll be prompted to go to a different web page which will give you a little more information. In this case, we have our variable daily sea surface temperature. It also shows the coordinates, the time range, and temperature units that we can pull information from to help us with our research. Going back to the Earth System Data Explorer, we can also find some of that information up here in the annotation window. But because we don't really need this anymore, we can go ahead and back out of this and we'll have more room to work with on the web page. The next thing we could do is recall Hurricane Sandy's position provided to us by the National Hurricane Center Tropical Cyclone Report for Hurricane Sandy. Looking at this map, we could go ahead and select this region. This will allow us to take a closer look at the information so we're not seeing all the clutter of everything else. We can do a couple of things. We could navigate to the left and enter coordinates, or we could navigate over to the drop-down above the minimap. Then, we can select North America since we know that the majority of the storm occurred there. Even though the area on the minimap has been selected, you can see that nothing has changed to our chart information. We just go to the Update Chart button and click to refresh the page. Now everything highlighted on the minimap will then be shown on our main map to the right. What is shown now includes the East Coast, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean, but also showing us a lot of the Pacific Ocean as well as Alaska and Canada, and we really don't need that much. So we could reset this mini-map and go to Select Region. This tool will allow us to go ahead and select the region ourselves. For the rest of this video, I'm going to leave this box checked so it will automatically update from now on. Now we have this information up, and this is very helpful to us. Again, if we had forgotten what happened with the dataset or what variable we're looking at, we can actually bring annotations back by clicking Annotations. Now we can go ahead and select the date we would like to look at. So let us go a couple days before the storm to October 20th, 2012. Already we can see these warm waters here. What we see is useful, but what if we could look at more information? Maybe we could use this one chart using the Compare To or Compare For features focusing on comparisons for the moment. We can actually look at 4 slides of information next to each other. Maybe they can increase by increments of 3 days apiece. For example, I can select the 23rd. This map can be the 26th, and this could be the 29th, which would be the last day of the storm. So already we can see huge differences in colors depicting the temperature of the water. Just before Hurricane Sandy became Hurricane Sandy, we can notice this brighter orange region here just off of Central America, and we know that Hurricane Sandy is entering as a tropical storm at this point. Now if we recall, Hurricane Sandy on October 23rd is going to continue to be in that area. We can actually see more disturbance in the sea surface temperature, so now we're actually noticing a sort of cooling trend. If we look 3 days later, we know that Hurricane Sandy on the 26th is now off the coast of Florida in this red region. We can actually see this kind of path bed form where the water cooled a little bit as the storm charged northward. On the last day of the storm, we know that Hurricane Sandy was off the coast of Virginia and Maryland and was still marked as a hurricane, which is going to be in this region here. Already we can see much more blue and white in this image than 9 days prior, showing a unique look at the storm. Another thing we can do is go back to using the Compare To feature. Say we wanted to look at other variables. Perhaps we wanted to see something like monthly mean sea surface temperature. This dataset, like many others, is actually going to be averaged over months because sea surface temperature is very unique, mainly because it is daily. Most of the datasets on the site are going to be monthly averages. When I go ahead and select sea surface temperatures, it is probably going to tell me to reselect the region, which is completely fine, and we can do that very easily. Go ahead and reselect and update it, and make sure that our time is still where we would like it to be. We can also look at different variables. We could look at monthly precipitation for October 2012. These are just some of the other uses of the Compare To feature of the Earth System Data Explorer. We can maybe look here, and we can actually see a prominent path of rain for Hurricane Sandy, and then where it dissipated over the land. This is to show just another interesting perspective to look at the same storm. Lastly, when we're finally satisfied with our results and we would like to keep this information, we can export the images. If we go to Display above the map, or if we're just on the one chart, we could use either one. Now we have a nice image, and we can go ahead and either print this like we would normally print any other web page, or we can right-click with our mouse and click Save Image as a PNG. This will be another way we can use the images for a project or a presentation. If we're doing a presentation, we now have a visually appealing image. Thank you very much for joining us. If you would like to learn more about the My NASA Data Earth System Data Explorer, please check out our other tutorials at our YouTube channel.